get one leap of love, one leap of hate. No one of the loving of the streets, have to keep me up my dream. When friends and family fail me.
Hi loves, it's your girl. Let me not be extra. Hi loves, I am AdornJamani and this is my podcast, Adorn Speaks. This is a safe place where we heal and become our better selves together. If you're new here, just like, comment, share, subscribe. This podcast is filled with faith-based content. We talk about mental health. We talk about relationships. We talk about feminine stuff. We talk about masculine stuff. We talk about stuff about women, stuff about men. We cover everything, but it's faith, it's biblical and faith based. Let's get into the video. Let's get into this juiciness. Okay guys, as you know, and if you don't know, we start off each podcast with something out of my daily bread. I was gonna read, originally we normally read the day that we're filming's daily bread, but I'm gonna read yesterday's daily bread because I like what it said. Okay, I love what it said and I want you guys to hear what he do. So it says, it's titled, "The Fear of Man is a Snare." And it says, a snare is a kind of trap, something that entangles you, making it difficult for you to escape. Fear of man involves being overly concerned about what others think of you. It is an unhealthy, ungodly focus. Seeing yourself through the eyes of others, this fear can be crippling. It is full of distortions. Sorry. Other people's view of you are distorted by their sinful nature. Therefore, moreover, it is almost impossible to know what they really think about you. When you view yourself, from others' perspective, you add your own distortions to them. As you strive to present an acceptable persona, you become trapped. When you realize that fear of man is motivating you, controlling your thoughts and behaviors, come to me. At your request, I will forgive you for making others' views of you into an idol. I will help you break free from these entanglements. Affirm your trust in me and take time to enjoy my presence. As you forget about yourself and focus on me, your loving Lord, you grow increasingly free. Yeah, thanks be to God. Hold on, let me get back comfy. I was reading that and I was like, I had the intention of just talking about that for today's podcast, because to be honest guys, I came into this blind. This morning when I woke up, while I was doing my morning prayers, I was like, you know what, Lord, I'm gonna do my podcast today. I'm gonna film my podcast today. It's good. This is literally the first thing that I'm doing today. Like, I woke up, I prayed, I have my breakfast, and this is my first activity. And I was like, God, I was supposed to do this yesterday. I'm doing this today because I want to be consistent, because I just want to be consistent in doing your work. I want to be consistent in walking in my purpose. And then I remember that originally I wanted to talk about this yesterday on my TikTok, because I do this thing where we have Bible studies on TikTok. Like I was telling you guys, go follow me on TikTok at AdornJamani. And if you came over on YouTube from TikTok, hey, what you poppin'? Thank you guys so much for tuning in. But yeah, I was like, last Sunday, I was teaching children's church, and we were talking about Solomon, and we all know the story of Solomon. And if you don't, I'm about to tell you. So Solomon is the wisest man to ever be on earth, right? God asked him. Okay, so Solomon, he is the son of David, and when y'all men want to justify cheating and having multiple women, that's who y'all talk about. Solomon in the Bible, King Solomon. So Solomon, listen up, fellas. Solomon, he was the wisest man to ever be on earth. God asked him, what do you want? What do you want from me? And he said, well, Lord, I want wisdom. And God admired his request, because he said normally people would ask for material stuffs, they would ask for riches and wealth and stuff like that, but he asked for wisdom. So because Solomon asked for that, God gave him wisdom, right? And told him that he's the wisest man to ever walk the earth, and he also gave him all of those things, and he also had his father's throne, David throne. So he was king over all the 12 tribes of Israel, all of Israel, basically. Anyway, in children's church, because I was teaching children's church Sunday, and the topic was how God punished Solomon, because Solomon, he got the wisdom of God, he got everything, but he disobeyed God by taking on multiple wives, and he ended up loving these wives more than he loved God. And then these wives influenced him to worship idols, and he lost his descendant, his son, didn't get to be king over all the 12 tribes. He became king over one of the tribes. So basically, Solomon lost everything. Well, almost everything, because of the love that Solomon had for David and for Solomon. He left one tribe of Israel for his son. And I know it's a story in the Bible. It's a story in the Word, but it resonates. What is happening with me today? Why am I bucking like I can't talk? It resonates with current times, and boom, there goes my topic. Like, what are you idolizing? What are you idolizing? Like, yeah, let's get into this juiciness. So, a lot of times we yearn and seek validation from others. Let's split it up. Let's talk about women. When women seek validation, women seek validation from men, right? Hence, that's how some women, like, they lean into clothing. They want to look a certain way to attract men. Certain clothes, so then they start idolizing clothes, start idolizing even men, because they become so invested in it. They become like it's a bondage. They become trapped in this. So then you have a woman who seeks validation from a man, and she's going out of her way, and then she becomes a slave to that. And I know the men are expecting me to say, like, I literally just said women become idolized idolize men and then go out of their way to attract or to get a man's attention. But let's talk about the men who idolize other men. Like, they want to feed their ego. They want to prove that, oh, me's a dan, me's a galis, me's a man. And then they start going out of their way. They start to be like Solomon. They start having a ton of women, right? And to boost their ego or to say, hey, I'm a man, when they then lose focus, because having a ton of women doesn't make you a man, and dressing seductively and seeking the validation or the attention of a man doesn't make you a woman. So it's like, when you idolize something, it's like a veil is over your eyes. You're blind. And that's what sin does. It blinds you. It makes you can't see clearly. It traps you. Guys, don't get trapped. Don't do that. Do not do that. Like, and it's a learning process. It's a learning process for you to get it, for you to understand it. And I feel like your intentions is like what make you know or come to the realization, like, I wear makeup, I'm into fashion, but why am I into fashion? Why am I into makeup? Why? Is it to please a man, or it's to just look presentable? Like I was telling you guys that God is teaching me modesty, and he's the one that's dressing me. I used to be into hair. Like, I used to be into wigs. I used to be into braids and stuff like that. And no, look at me. I'm on YouTube with some mini braids. Like, before, you would never get me to do that. Don't get me wrong. I'm not telling you to throw away your wigs, throw away your braids. No. The way how God has a reason why he wants me to stop wearing those stuff. Maybe he doesn't want you to wear those stuff. But for me, like I was telling you guys last week, God told me to do this 2 years ago. He told me to let go of these stuff 2 years ago. And I've now just fully, like a couple months ago, I've just fully stopped wearing it. I was idolizing those stuff because I don't know why I was idolizing those stuff. I maybe have to go back at the drawing board and try to understand why I was idolizing those stuff. But I can know that I was idolizing those stuff because of how it took me so long to let it go. So my question to you today: what is it that if God come to you right now and say, let go off of that, and you're going to still hold on to it? Then that's how you can know what you're idolizing. Because if the Creator is telling you to let go off of that, leave that alone, that is not for you, and you're holding on to it, then that is an idol to you. Let's go into seeking validation from others, because then that's how the person becomes your idol. Like, I was watching this TikToker. His name is Jalen. he's a TikToker, and I was watching an interview. I don't know what the interview is called, but I don't know. I don't know what the interview is called, but I'm going to find it and see if I could pop up the name of the interview right here. But they were doing an interview with him, and he was sharing his story how he basically took his life because it was flatlined, meaning he died. Like he died and then he came back because he was flatlined. And he was telling his story how he got to that. He was saying that as a kid growing up, he was a sportsy type of guy, and because of his dad, and he said he yearned to be like his dad, and he was just into sports, and he basically he admitted that he wanted to be like his dad because he looked up to him. And he was failing at all of those stuff that he was doing, and it led him to take his try to take his life. And I was like, whoa. He wanted to make his parent, his dad, so proud that even when he was failing, because he had fear that he would disappoint people, he took his own life. He tried to take his own life. I'm like, that's a perfect example. Okay, it might not be as drawn out as taking your own life, but you yearn for recognition. Like, you don't need to yearn for recognition from anyone but God. Don't yearn for recognition from anyone but God. That's why I feel like it's so crucial for us. Last episode we were talking about adulthood and we were talking about failure. If you guys haven't checked that out, I urge you to go check it out right now. We were talking about failure, and we were saying that sometimes when we encounter failure, let's be realistic. Before we do stuff, we don't include God. And then when it has failed, that's when we go to God saying, oh God, I don't know what else to do. I don't know where else to turn. God help me. When you should have done that before you did what you did. So you can also incorporate that even with what I'm saying in this podcast. Whatever step you're going to do, whatever step you're going to make, ask God what's the step to make. Ask God what to do. Then you're yearning and you're going out of your way to please God than to please man. Yeah. That's all I have within me today. Who are you pleasing? Who are you pleasing? Are you trying to please man? Are you trying to seek the validation from man? Or are you seeking validation from God? What is your idol? Who is your idol? Thank you guys so much for tuning into this week's episode. I'm AdornJamani, and this is my podcast, Adorn Speaks. This is a safe place where we heal and become our better selves together. Until next time, Bye, loves. And don't forget, my YouTube fam bam, don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. And for those of you who are watching in the podcast world, hi. If you want to see the visual version of this, you can check me out on YouTube at AdornJamani. And for those of you who are on YouTube, if you want to check me out, you can if you want to check out the audio version of this, you can check it out on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Radio Public, Amazon, iTunes, at Adorn Speaks. And if you want to follow me on TikTok, I had 2 pages on TikTok. One of them is AdornJamani and the other is Spiritual Entertainment. Until next time, bye, loves.
One girl, one leap, love, one leap ahead. She make, oh, I love the streets, so they keep me up my chin.